Tell us, Mr. Wayne. What do you fear?
How do you know my name?
The world is too small for someone like Bruce Wayne to disappear.
Your parents' death was not your fault.
My parents deserve justice.
I cannot let that pass.
If you make yourself more than just a man, then you become something else entirely.
Which is?
A legend, Mr. Wayne.
Master Wayne.
Are you coming back for long, sir?
As long as it takes to show the people of Gotham their city doesn't belong to the criminals and the corrupt.
Bruce?
Rachel?
You were gone a long time.
I know.
Things are worse than ever down here. What chance does Gotham have when the good people do nothing?
Nomex survival suit for advanced infantry. Kevlar utility harness, gas-powered magnetic grapple gun.
What's that?
Oh, the tumbler? Oh, you wouldn't be interested in that.
I spent a lot of time being scared for you. I heard you were back. But the man I loved, the man who vanished, never came back.
He's here.
Who?
The Batman.
Gotham must be destroyed.
Gotham isn't beyond saving.
Just hold on! Rachel!
Guy dresses up like a bat clearly has issues.
Watching every feature film that stars a certain Kid Crusader. Batman! Batman! Yes, of course I'm watching the cartoon and all 3 Lego movies. Batman! Batman! Sing it with me. Batman! Batman! This is big screen Batman! Oh, oops. Oh, Batman.
Imagine a kindergarten teacher looking through art that the children drew, little stick drawings and random colorings, going to then a great art museum and seeing something that is made by a master. The yin and the yang. The yin and the yang? Yin and the yang. Last week, I watched an abomination of a film called Batman and Robin. And although the rest of the world had to wait 8 years for another Batman film, I only had to wait a couple days, as tonight I just went and rewatched Batman Begins for the first time in years. Now, this one I own. I bought this on Amazon oh boy, years ago. And it's one of those movies where I have it through Movies Anywhere, so I have it on Google, I have it on Apple, whatever product you can watch it on. You can watch it. I can watch it. But I didn't realize that. I went to HBO Max just by default because that's where I've been going. And that Batman Begins is not on there, which I was surprised. But then I remembered that I owned it and went over to Amazon and just watched it. And it's funny, it was at like the 15-minute mark, so I must have started watching it at some point and just never went back. But I have to say that after watching Batman, and maybe it was the fact that Batman and Robin was so gosh darn terrible that made this one feel even better. But I forgot or didn't realize how much I would enjoy this movie this time around. And I don't want to say second time around, because I've definitely seen it since the theater. I mean, I had to have, right? It's 15 years ago that this movie came out. 2005. Excuse me. I'm trying to think. In life, it was the summer before my wife and I decided to move to Florida. And, well, it was the summer we moved to Florida, so we must have been already selling our house at that point, because this was a summer movie. And, I mean, it was already in the cards. We must have, geez, who knows how close to our moving this was. It seems like a lifetime ago. Look, spoiler alert, like, we lasted 11 months in Florida. And this was really like before everyone was FaceTiming and Skyping and social media. I think if we lived there now, it'd be a lot easier to be connecting back home than it was then. But as I said, we lasted 11 months in Florida, came back to the Northeast. We missed driving in terrible stormy weather in the winter too much. We couldn't take the beautiful warm weather of Florida. Had to get out of there. But that is for another. That's a different story. That has nothing to do with this. All I'm trying to tell you is the place in time in my life that was going on. I'm not even sure if those were the proper English words. Like, they were words. I definitely said words, but I'm not sure they came in the correct order. But hopefully you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. Is 2005 was a long time ago, and I definitely went to the theater to see this. I went with my friend, my buddy Dave. There's two Daves, okay? Dave C went with me to see this, okay? He's the different Dave that went to the Mask of the Phantasm, okay? And both Daves will continue to come up in future episodes. But anyway, so I'm 2005. I am 29 years old, we'll say, because that's how old I was. 28 maybe. And I'm already like working at my job that I'm at still. I'm an adult. I'm a grown up, and yet I was feverishly excited that there was a new Batman movie. And I'm thinking, oh, I've heard of Batman Year One. This is based on this. And Christopher Nolan, I knew from, I think he already did Insomnia at this point, and Memento. And, right, those are his two big ones before this. I'm not looking at any notes. I took a few notes, but not like I did for Batman and Robin. This time I just enjoyed the movie. But wow, I remember really liking it. I remember loving The Dark Knight, and really liking Dark Knight Rises. There's one I haven't seen. I don't think I watched since I've been in the theater. I don't think I've seen The Dark Knight Rises in all that time. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Batman Begins. I mean, even the title, Batman Begins. They're telling you right away, this has nothing to do with your previous movies. Yes, I know that there were Tim Burton movies, and then there were Joel Schumacher movies, and yes, they're different, but they're all the same in a sort of shared universe because they had the same Commissioner Gordon and the same Alfred Pennyworth, who didn't die in the last movie. But we are starting over from scratch. Those movies are dead. Those movies are gone. Okay, don't want to see them anymore. They're from a different era. They're technically on a different Earth. So, right, there's a different Earth in the infinite universes of the DC world, which I kind of think are still going to come all back together in some amazing way that at least I will be excited about. But anyway, this is like we're starting from scratch, and it's like we're not looking to make a hyper stylized film. We're not looking to make this bright, campy comic book film. We are looking to make a grounded, down to earth, like, what if this was in the real world with a real looking city, a real looking Gotham City? This is like as real could possibly be, with some fantastical, elements. The whole Scarecrow's, his, scare spray. That's not what it's called. I feel like there's an actual term that they use in the comics that I do not know. But other than that, kind of, and then really all it is a toxin that's derived from a plant. So it's not, even that has some sort of based in reality thing. But this whole thing is, look, what we're telling you is, here's a story of a man named Brucey, who was living without two parents of his own, okay? He was one man living with his butler, but he felt all alone. Till the one day when he went off seeking training, and he knew that he was in much more than... I ran out of steam. But he knew that he was, not training at school, because he went off to prison to fight some bad guys, and he met Ra's al Ghul. I did it. I brought it back. Bam! I should write this down. I should write this down, and this could be the theme song. I'm not going to do it, but come on, that wasn't bad. That wasn't too bad. Okay, so just talking about the movie, like the whole, like, it's hard to say, the aesthetic, where, look, we're bringing in really good actors, really good director. Everything's different, like, this is the quintessential dramatic action version of that goofy, funny, silly stuff you saw before. And this kind of kicked off the renaissance, the golden age, whatever you want to call it, of superhero movies. The fact that this was so well received and did so good, I think, is what brought back Superman. The following year we had Superman Returns, and it's like my love for Superman kind of really started with me, finding Smallville and kind of falling in love with the character again, and, then going back to the comics, and then going back to the movies. And I'm rambling on because this is not a Superman podcast, but the real reason that we had Superman Returns, I think, is because of Batman Begins. And that led to, the Marvel Studios saying, we want to do something. I don't know if that led to that. But I think all of a sudden then a couple years later was Dark Knight at the same time as Iron Man? Right? Was it both 2008? Am I completely wrong? I know that 2008 is already 12 years ago, and how many movies have we gotten since then? But it's, I think, my opinion, I could be wrong, everything, and Marvel took it to a new level, but Nolan's Batman films kind of showed what can be done and how audiences will take it. And they took it, and they took it good. I mean, how do I even talk about this movie? Do I talk about the plot? Do I just talk about how great everybody is in it? You forget. So, I mean, spoilers. This movie's old. You forget Katie Holmes in this. She feels young. And I think maybe Christopher Nolan didn't have the gravitas needed for the role. I don't know. I mean, some points, you feel like, I'm wondering, is she a good actress? Other points, I think she's fine. Maggie Gyllenhaal is a better actress, I guess. But geez, it's Rachel Dawson. Can't be Rachel Dawson. Dawson's Creek. No. She didn't have a lot of luck. Jeez, in this she almost dies. In the next one, she, we all know what happens. But I thought Katie Holmes was fine. I don't think leaving the role was her idea. I assume it was Christopher Nolan, who I guess would be really happy that Batman Begins is not on HBO Max, because he doesn't like HBO Max having all the fumes. I don't even think this is how he sounds. He probably sounds more like this. He's probably more like, very much like this. I feel like I've heard maybe some conversations with him where he sounds very serious and is very proper. And he does not like that these big screen films are going to HBO Max for people in America. He wants you to risk going to the theater, or I guess wait until it's on home video, or I guess wait for everyone to be safe and then release it. The film, I guess. It's funny, all these directors are all up in arms about this HBO Max thing. And it's like, all the consumers, the people that are watching the films, are excited about it because they don't have to go out. They don't have to worry about it. They can actually watch something, and I feel like I'm going off on tangents because this movie's so good that I can't just sit here and say, it's good. What am I going to say? But maybe, I'm just going to say this quick, if less people are going to the movies and watching these things at home, then the studios would make less money on these movies, and therefore maybe they'd invest less money in these movies. So therefore, maybe directors are worried that their movies will be not as good. I don't know. I see big budget movies on Netflix, and people seem very happy watching them. Anyway, I've rambled on, tangent too much. Back to Batman Begins. Christian Bale. Christian Bale is quite possibly one of the greatest living actors, and he is in a Batman movie as freaking Batman. Like, I don't think that people understood who they had in this role. It'd be like getting Leonardo DiCaprio to be, the new Iron Man or something like that, or to be a superhero. It's like, whoa, you got him, and you say that now. I mean, he's been nominated. He's won Oscars. He's done so many things, and I'm wondering, is this after The Machinist? He seemed a little gaunt early on, and they did a really good job with just subtle things to make him look younger. And a lot of it was just the floppy hair, and he looked a little thinner. Then all of a sudden the hair's greased back. He looked a little more beefed up, and and I'm sure it's him. He's a crazy person as far as method and preparation and the commitment that he'll go to for a role. So I'm wondering if it was after The Machinist where he got really, really skinny to be in a movie that I still haven't seen. But having him right away gives a little certain gravitas. I guess that's the whole thing. Maybe and I like that word, gravitas. Maybe the fact that, you know, you have Michael Caine, you have you know, as I said, Christian Bale, you have is it Cillian Murphy? You got the guy who played Falcone is a big actor. You got I can't remember people's names. Morgan Freeman. You got Gary Oldman. I almost said Gary Coleman. Gary Coleman in this movie would have been friggin' awesome, but it wasn't him. It's Gary Oldman. You got all these big heavy hitters, and Liam Neeson. I mean, it was like just a big group of great actors. Even Rutger Hauer is great. R.I.P. So, I mean, just the fact that there wasn't a bad credit card, there wasn't stupid puns. I mean, oh my God. I think I'm a sucker for origin stories. I know when people say, "Oh, I don't need to see Batman become Batman again. I don't need to see Superman become Superman again." You know how many Superman origin stories I've read and reread? It's like reading a myth, you know, like the great mythology, and just reading someone else's take on it, a little twist, a little something different. And this I don't know, this isn't directly based on Batman Year One, I don't think, but it is inspired by it. And I read Batman Year One a million years ago. I own it someplace, I think. But the from a man, you know, back to the boy, just the structure of how this movie was put together, it was somewhat out of order. You started with a kid, you realize it's a flashback. You start with, you know, he's Bruce Wayne, he's in prison. Why is he in prison? He's in prison to train him, because he's there trying to harden himself, to train himself. Why does he want to do that? Because we find out his parents are killed. We find out that he's been at school and gets kicked out. We find out that he goes to the trial of the man who killed his parents, who is getting out on a technicality because he ratted on Carmine Falcone, and then he goes to the trial. He says he's going to speak up for his family, but he really wanted to go there and kill this guy, Joe Chill. See, Joe Chill in the comic books killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. Not Jack Nicholson. Not Jack Napier. Okay? I know everyone loves Batman 89. I love Batman 89. But the rewriting of that tale is not how it is. It's Joe Chill. And just the you know, he's the look on Christian Bale's face when he thinks he's about to kill this guy, and then some woman shows up and says, Carmine Falcone sends his regards, and kills him instead. The reaction of like, oh my goodness, I was going to do that. Oh my goodness, I am not able to do that. It also has a lot to do with the fact that Christopher Nolan is a excellent director, and I know Joel Schumacher can direct. I've seen him direct movies, but his direction or his style in those Batman movies are so off-putting to me that this just feels like I'm watching something special when I'm watching this one. And you know, we don't even see Batman for over an hour. The movie's like a little over 2 hours. Like, what is it, 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we don't see Batman for a good hour. We see the, like, beginnings of the planning, everything in place. Why bats? How bats? How does he get this? How does he get that? Well, he's a billionaire, but he has all these, you know, how does he get these things? Well, he already has them. His company has them. And I love the interaction between, Lucius Fox and Bruce Wayne and spelunking. And Lucius like being, I don't want to ask any questions because if I don't know anything, I can't, I don't have, I can deny honestly, but I'm not stupid. He figured things out. I like that he has that circle. It's a small circle. It's of people who know. It's Rachel. Rachel finds out later because he basically says, "Remember that thing you said to me? Well, I'm going to say it back to you." And she's like, "Wait a second." He's like, "Oh, wait, I didn't mean to say that. Oh, no." And he's got Alfred, obviously. Michael Caine. I mean, goddamn Michael Caine as Alfred. I mean, he's no Jeremy Irons, but still. So I love the training. Like, it gives you an explanation. I mean, he goes off with Ra's al Ghul. I love that Liam Neeson is Ra's al Ghul, but he's posing as his number 2. And he just puts some face every time, this face dies, he replaces him with a new face. Excuse me, I believe the movie pronounces Ra's al Ghul wrong. Right? Isn't it Ra's al Ghul? Or Ra's al Ghul? Now, I know he was on Arrow, and I think Arrow pronounced it correctly, Ra's al Ghul. Honestly, this is the nerdiest conversation I've ever had with myself. Are they pronouncing Ra's al Ghul correctly? I'm not sure. I don't know why Christopher Nolan didn't use League of Assassins. He used League of Shadows instead. Yes. I guess if you call yourself the League of Assassins, you're pretty much telling people, yeah, we're a bunch of assassins, where League of Shadows gives a little bit of mystery. So that might have been an improvement, or, it was done for a reason. So Bruce, gets away and goes off to train basically how to live. I want to live like a poor boy. I want to live like a poor boy, Alfred. I'm going across the world. I should do the whole thing like I'm Boo Boo from Yogi. Oh, I don't know, Yogi. I'm going, Alfred. I'm going to see the world. Okay, I'm tired and rambling, but I just love this movie so much. The little things where he gets caught stealing, he gets in with his gang, and they steal some things so that he can go into that prison. But if you look, it shows that he's stealing from Wayne Enterprises. So in actuality, he's not affecting any company except himself. Now, mind you, that could be a problem for the board or for the employees there, but really, he's not hurting anybody. He just did that to get into the prison to kick some ass, and I guess Ra's al Ghul took notice because he takes him out, and they have that whole training montage where it just shows that, look, this Bruce Wayne is a badass. This Bruce Wayne wants to do these things. He will fight you, but it gets honed, just like the seeds of theatricality and stealth and all these things. All those things are built into this training montage with Liam Neeson. The gauntlets on the arms, just little things that would help a man like Bruce Wayne say, I'm going to use this, but I'm going to use it as a bat. But of course, he won't kill this man. He doesn't let Liam Neeson, he saves Liam Neeson. He doesn't let him die. Just little things like that to show that, look, I want to better and I want to help Gotham. And I believe in what you people stand for to a point. But they start showing that hand that, look, we are the people who bring down societies that are, beyond reproach, or not beyond reproach, beyond control. We step in for, London burned to the ground. Was it Constantinople? And I like later when Liam Neeson's like, Gotham, we tried doing it economically, but then your father came in and ruined things. He didn't say, and that's why we had him killed, which was good. They didn't, because that would have been like too connected. He was like, and then look what happened, he ends up getting killed by the same people he's trying to help. So that, I liked that. That was good. Now but I do like that it's connected where that little flower comes into play, because that's the flower that, so they're working with Crane. Crane is working with the drug dealer to help, smuggle in these flowers, and these flowers are going to be used to make a poison to make everybody crazy, so the Gotham tears itself apart. All that stuff is great. I really liked this movie. Even, Gary Oldman as Gordon, their little, like I was saying some of these quotes, even though it's been a while, when he's like, I never got to thank you. And he's like, and you never will. I know he doesn't talk like that. He's like, and you never will. And then he jumps off. And like later, or earlier, he's like, I'm just one man. He's like, or you're just one man. He goes, now we are two. Like little things like that. I was like, oh, so cool. So awesome. When he pretends to have a gun to Gordon's neck, but it's just a stapler. So much I love it. And I was very happy that, obviously he's got the cowl and he's got the makeup on he wears the makeup on his face. But when he takes the cowl off, after he brings Rachel back to the cave, they don't show his face. So you don't see like his face without makeup, because it wouldn't make any sense. Just like Tim Burton. Oh boy. Even the thought of that in Batman Returns drives me crazy. The Batcave, I love that. The explanation of like this was used for the Underground Railroad, so we have this elevator. They have all these things already. And the fact that Wayne Enterprises has been burnt to the ground, so we need to rebuild it. And while we rebuild it, we can make it a little better. Now, as the next movie, everything's underground, right? There is no Wayne Enterprises. There's no Batcave. It's just it was like under a trailer, right? That hidden fortress, if I remember correctly. But that's a different movie. That's a movie that I have seen a couple times, but I feel like with The Dark Knight, I watched the first half an hour many times, and I haven't watched the whole thing all the way through in years. I mean, I own this. I bought this on DVD, The Dark Knight. Oh, see, I don't want to talk about Dark Knight. I want to talk about Dark Knight. Okay, I'm going all over the place because that's one thing. I'm trying to think of my notes, even though I wrote them and I didn't go back to read them. But when Michael Caine, when Alfred comes and picks up Bruce, is like, we're going home and I'm going to become a Batman. He didn't say that exactly. But Michael Caine started talking about your father. And he started talking about the Depression. And he's like, when the Depression hit, it's like, the Depression? Huh? Like, are they talking about the Great Depression? No. So, I don't know if it's a throwaway line. It's not a throwaway line, but it's a quick line. And I'm thinking to myself, is there some thing in DC continuity where there was a depression in Gotham? Maybe when you think about when Batman originally came out, they could have the timing of that works. Every scene with Thomas Wayne also like almost made me like tear up when he's like with the stethoscope and his son. he seemed like such a nice fella. It's like, Bruce, why do we fall? So that we can get back up. But when he gets shot and he's like, Bruce, don't be afraid. I was like, dude, you are scary. You are very scary as you're dying. And then he's like, Mrs. Wayne, Martha Wayne, she got nothing. Like, they gave her nothing to do. She was there. She was at the theater. She was like, and she got shot. I don't even know if she had a line. So, not much going there. I don't know much about the character of Mrs. Wayne. I know she likes pearls, and I know she hates bullets. That's all I really know about her. And I know her name is Martha. That's all, like, you know, Martha Kent. Her I know, you know, much, much more. Ma Kent. Again, tangents. But, you know, I guess I'm just trying to connect the Martha name. This movie was just, it made me, it inspired me again about Batman. It just made me realize, yes, the idea of a man getting dressed in as a bat in itself is silly. Okay? But you can make it work if you take it seriously and give it meaning. And Christopher Nolan did that. Took it seriously and gave the bat meaning, basically saying, I'm taking my fears and I'm going to use it to be a, you know, fearful, you know, fear, to instill fear. I'm a mystery. I'm fear. He's not sitting there going to art signings like in Batman Returns, or he's not, you know, talking to the chief of police in, you know, at the bottom of the stairs, at the bottom of a you know, in a city, a public street, like in Batman Returns. Like these little things that they've done in previous Batman films, the Schumacher Batman films, this Batman would never do. I also love that they pushed the idea that Bruce Wayne, the Bruce Wayne that the world sees, is the Mask. And that Bruce acts like this, you know, dickhead, billionaire playboy when he just is doing that to kind of throw the scent off of the Batman. And of course, Rachel, you know, that whole scene where he jumps in the water, or at the birthday party when he tells everyone to leave. But Rachel sees it. Rachel's like, you know, he's like, that's not who I really am. She's like, well, it's not who you are inside. It's what you do. It's your actions, basically. And of course, he uses that later to be like, I'm going to tell you who I am, even though I'm not going to tell you. And she's like, Bruce Wayne? And he should be like, shut the hell up. People can hear you. Oh man, this movie's so good. I just love it. I love this movie. But I'm done talking about it. I feel like from here on out, it's excitement. Excitement for these movies that I know I love. Excitement for movies that I haven't watched in a while and I'm looking forward to seeing again. And yes, I'm talking about the Batfleck movies. I'm excited, and I'm excited to be excited. Ooh, and I just held back a burp. You're welcome. You're welcome, listeners. And that's it. I'm done. So, I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you for subscribing. The podcast is Geek Mentality. This is Big Screen Batman, but of course, Geek Mentality does many little silly projects. You'll find out more in March, and again more in June. But in the meantime, we're going to keep watching Batman movies. You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter and on Stadia. If you use Google Stadia to stream games and play games, I'm Geek Mentality there too. at Geek Mentality on Twitter, at Geek Mentality on Instagram. The website is fansnotexperts.com. You can find all the big screen Batman posts at fansnotexperts.com/Batman. And you can see all our podcasts there as well. We have a Facebook page, Fans Not Experts, but I don't really use it. Sometimes I post things there, but sometimes I'm like, do I want all my friends to see that I watched Batman Begins and another Batman movie? Yeah, I do. Because guess what? Batman's awesome. That's it. I'm done. I'm going to sleep. Good night. See you next time when I was going to try to do a Joker impression. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to sleep instead. So, folks, before I go, I want you to listen to my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time. And I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode. Fans Not Experts.